This is the Netherlands. Over the last several years, the Netherlands has faced a challenging housing crisis. In just the last 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, the average house in the Netherlands has increased by 47.8% in price. This crisis is a widespread issue affecting many, but mainly young, inhabitants of the Netherlands. All over the country, from large urban areas to smaller villages, expats, students, and young people looking for a first home are being priced out of an already historically expensive market. Even with near-zero economic growth in the Netherlands in the last few years, the challenge of finding an affordable living space is becoming harder. What's more, the country's omnipresent rent-controlled social housing is facing a lack of available housing and new developments. According to a report by Hanneke van Deursen, social housing makes up 29% of the total housing stock in the Netherlands. 29% of housing in the Netherlands is leased for less than €763 per month. What makes the Dutch system unique is that its social housing is built, owned, and managed by a robust and decentralized network of 284 non-profit housing associations. In total, the housing associations own about 2.3 million units, making social housing an €87.3 billion sector. This was the original path to independence among the country's working class and young people, but with such long wait times that reality is fading. These days, the waiting time for receiving a place can be greater than 10 years. The private housing market in the country, also known as the free sector, can sometimes cost more than €1,500 a month for a small place for one person, an impossibility on the average Dutch salary. The numbers behind the housing crisis in the Netherlands are staggering and getting worse. According to research, there is a shortage of 390,000 homes in 2023, which marks quite a significant increase from 315,000 in the previous year. The main hub for the housing shortage is in large cities like Amsterdam. While the average income of these cities is higher than the rest of the country, some groups are disproportionately affected, namely students, single households, and low-income workers. But what has the government been doing to remedy this situation? The Dutch government under Mark Rutte had set an ambitious goal to construct 900,000 new homes by 2030. However, this target is probably out of reach, despite the fact that more housing is one of the hottest topics and top priorities in Dutch politics. Current projections indicate that just around 834,000 homes will be built by that deadline. To put this into perspective, at the moment in the Netherlands there are just over 8 million homes. The number of building permits issued for new-build homes amounted to 27,900 in the first 6 months of 2023. This is a decrease of 16.9% compared to the first 6 months of 2022. Simply far too few permits are being issued to reduce the housing shortage. The total number of permits for new-build homes will not exceed 55,000 for the whole of 2023. This is only 55% of the government target. The housing shortage will then rise to well over 400,000 homes. There are sufficient plans to build 30,000 affordable homes annually. Building new homes faster has been particularly difficult, however, and this can be attributed to a number of factors, one being the nitrogen issue. The nitrogen crisis in the Netherlands has had a profound impact on the housing situation due to the construction sector being hit particularly hard by it. New nitrogen regulations, specifically the infamous PFAS standard, led to the delay of around 18,000 building projects as they breached EU law. These nitrogen regulations came with good reason. When too much nitrogen and phosphorus enter the environment, usually from a wide range of human activities, the air and water can become polluted. Nutrient pollution has impacted many streams, rivers, lakes, bays, and coastal waters for the past several decades, resulting in serious environmental and human health issues and impacting the economy. Rules made to curb the nitrogen crisis have inadvertently made the construction and housing sector more risk-averse, as delays in building projects can cost a significant amount. This further adds to the delay and scrapping of housing. Even though some regulations have been rolled back, the time lag between granting a permit and completing a housing project means the effects will be felt for years to come. In the Low Countries, a majority of the land is used for agriculture. In the Netherlands, it takes up about 53% of the total land use. Due to zoning restrictions, this large amount of agriculture has a direct impact on the availability of land for housing construction. The need to balance political issues such as food security, food prices, and powerful stakeholders like farmers with housing needs adds another layer of complexity to the crisis. While agriculture is vital for the economy, the large footprint it occupies limits the space available for new housing projects. The tension between maintaining agricultural land and addressing the housing crisis is a complicated issue that policymakers are grappling with. It is a heated discussion amongst Dutch people, as seen with the rise of the Boeren Protesten and new political parties like the BB. Property investors have become a significant factor in the escalating housing crisis. While their impact might be somewhat overstated when looking at the whole of the Netherlands, investors, both retail, commercial, and institutional, sometimes have a large local impact. Large investors, including private equity funds, have bought up large portions of available properties, sometimes more than 20% in certain markets, and keep holding onto them as investments. Some refer to this as land hoarding and say it has a significant effect on the housing market. It drives up property prices and makes it even more difficult for average buyers to enter the market. The housing situation will definitely be one to watch as the Dutch people vote for their House of Representatives in the general election on November 22, 2023. At a recent general election debate in a university building in Leiden, a city in the Netherlands, fingers were being pointed. One of the bigger issues being discussed was this deeply troubling housing crisis, and some politicians took the opportunity to lay out culprits. Peter Omtzigt, the leader of the fledgling New Social Contract Party, proclaimed that expats run the housing market in Amsterdam and that he will get rid of a law that gives a minority of expats a 30% tax break. For this upcoming 2023 general election, candidates are making their pitch. They're laying out the reasons for the housing crisis and how they plan to solve it. And in all of this, Dutch citizens are stuck in the middle of a political drama and are nervous as their former path to stability has creeped away.